Well, good morning, world. It's Zilla. It's Mr. Bring You the Scripture so you can see the bigger picture. All right, we just finished Mark 16 in the profile right before this, but now we're going to just go ahead and intro Luke for later on today. So this is just the intro. It's not Scripture, but it just kind of tells you what Luke's all about. And yeah, let's get into it. Luke. The Gospel of Luke is the only book of the New Testament that was written by a Gentile. Luke was a physician who never met Jesus and was not an eyewitness of the events of the Gospel account. He was a dear friend of the Apostle Paul and probably traveled with him on his last two missionary journeys. Luke was writing as a historian who had compiled the accounts of others in a carefully researched way. He addressed this book as its sequel. The, he addressed this book and its sequel, the book of Acts, to Theophilus, who was probably a Greek believer. Luke's intent was to confirm to Theophilus that the events he was recording were absolutely true. It was an apologetic for an early Greek Christian. While Matthew presented Jesus as the Jewish Messiah and King, Mark painted him as the perfect man. And who would be better qualified to bear witness to the humanity of Jesus than a physician? Luke wrote in a very high form of Greek, with a very sophisticated vocabulary. He used numerous medical terms, as one might expect. The Greeks were obsessed with humanity and the quest for perfect humanity, and Luke wanted to show them Jesus, the perfect man. It is quite likely that Luke interviewed Mary, the mother of Jesus. He included details of her story that no one else would be privy to. While Matthew's gospel gives the legal genealogy of Jesus, Matthew 1st chapter 1 through 16, through his stepfather Joseph, Luke gives the actual biological genealogy of Jesus through his mother Mary. Many heresies would arise in the early church concerning the biology of Jesus, including the Gnostics who denied the humanity of Jesus. Luke clearly demonstrated to a Greek audience that these philosophical heresies were unfounded and that Jesus was in fact a man, fully God and fully man. We don't know exactly when the Gospel of Luke was written. It is generally thought to have been written at a later date than Mark and Matthew, but that isn't necessarily true. Some liberal scholars have dated it much later, after the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. Their reasoning is based on the fact that Luke quotes Jesus as giving such detailed and accurate predictions of the destruction of Jerusalem that it must have been written after the events. Of course, if you believe in prophecy, and you believe that Jesus could foretell the future, you come to a different conclusion. The Gospel of Luke provides a unique perspective of the life of Christ, and along with the other three Gospels, help us to see who Jesus really is and what he said and did.